Taryn wiped the sweat from his forehead as the doors of Storage Bay 9 hissed open. The old outpost, sitting quiet at the edge of the Yaru system, was full of forgotten cargo. Some crates had not been opened in over 30 years. Most were labeled in faded ink. Some had no labels at all. He walked in with a light scanner and a curious mind. His shift had ended an hour ago, but he stayed behind. He enjoyed quiet places like this. While other engineers went to rest or play cards, Taryn liked to explore the silent corners of the station. He stopped in front of a crate made of dark metal. It had no label, no lock, and no sign of where it came from. It looked too smooth, too polished for something so old. "This one doesn't belong here," Taryn whispered. He touched the side, and the metal surface lit up. A thin line appeared in the center and opened like a flower. Inside, folded neatly, was something that looked like a dress, but it was no ordinary dress. It shimmered with deep teal colors that moved like water. The fabric looked soft, yet strong. It had no seams, no zippers, no tags. Just one smooth piece of flowing beauty. Taryn reached out and gently picked it up. The dress felt warm in his hands. It was light, almost floating. He had never seen anything like it before. Not on Earth, not on any human colony. He placed it on a nearby table and scanned it. The scanner beeped, then blinked red. "Unknown material, unknown energy signature," the screen said. Taryn stared at the message. That meant it was alien. Maybe from the early contact years, before the Treaty of 5 Moons. Many things from that time were lost or hidden. Some were never talked about. Again. "Where did you come from?" Taryn asked the dress. He stood there for a moment, unsure what to do. Then he carefully folded the dress again and carried it to his small quarters. He did not want to report it yet, not until he knew more. The next morning, the station welcomed a visitor. She arrived in a small silver ship with smooth lines and no visible engine. Her name was Rena, and she was Sarali. Most people had never seen a Sarali before. They were rare, visitors known for their calm nature and quiet wisdom. They were tall, slender, with soft skin that shimmered faintly under light. Rena had dark green eyes and moved like she was part of the air itself. Taryn saw her from across the landing bay. She stood still, looking at the station like she was remembering something old. Later, she came to the command deck with a clear request. "I am looking for something," she said softly. "It was taken from one of our memory ships long ago. We believe it was brought here by mistake." The station chief asked what it was. "It is a dress," she replied, "but not just. Clothing. It holds memories from someone important. I wish to find it and take it home." The chief nodded and ordered the search teams to begin. But Taryn already knew. His heart beat faster as he returned to his room. He opened the small storage box under his bed and looked at the dress again. Could this really be what she was looking for? That evening, he waited in the food hall. He saw Rena sitting alone near the large window, watching the stars. Most crew members kept their distance. They didn't know what to say to a Sarali. But Taryn walked over with slow steps. "Excuse me," he said. "May I sit here?" She looked at him, then nodded. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence was not uncomfortable. It felt calm, like the stillness before a soft rain. "I think I found the thing you're looking for," Taryn said. Rena turned her head, her eyes steady. "It is a dress," he continued. "It was in an old crate, no label. I didn't know what it was until today." "May I see it?" she asked. Taryn nodded. Back in his room, he unfolded the dress and placed it on the bed. Rena stepped closer, her eyes wide. She reached out slowly, almost afraid to touch it. "It's hers," she whispered. Taryn stood back, letting her take her time. "She was my sister," Rena said after a long pause. She traveled with humans during the early peace missions. This dress carries her thoughts, her memories. It was part of our tradition. Taryn listened, unsure what to say. She believed in humans. She believed both sides could learn from each other. But the missions stopped. Many things were lost. He looked at the dress again. "Why would someone keep this hidden?" he asked. "Maybe they feared it," Rena said. "Or maybe they forgot what it meant." Taryn offered her a chair and they sat. "Would you like to take it now?" he asked. "Not yet," she said. "It is not just an object. It responds to memory and feeling. If you touched it, it may have shared something with you." Taryn looked surprised. "I didn't see anything?" "Not yet," she said. "But sometimes, memories wait until the right time." There was another pause, but this time, it felt like something new had begun. Rena stood and gave a small nod. "Thank you, Taryn," she said. "You have done something kind. I will speak to the council tomorrow, but for now, let this dress rest here. It is safe with you." As she left the room, Taryn looked again at the strange, beautiful dress. It shimmered under the soft light, almost like it was breathing. He did not understand everything yet, but he knew one thing. This was not the end. It was the beginning. Rena stood near the large window in the east corridor of the outpost. Stars moved slowly outside, like small lanterns floating in deep silence. Her long robe, the color of forest leaves, hung gently around her as she watched the passing lights. The humans around her kept their distance, not because of fear, but because of curiosity and respect. Sorali visitors were rare. No one had seen one on this station before. She had been quiet since her arrival, speaking only when needed. Her voice was soft but clear. The station crew noticed how she walked without sound and how she always listened before she spoke. Some thought she was a teacher. Others thought she was some kind of priest. But only Taryn knew what she had truly come for. Taryn waited in the corner of the corridor, watching her quietly. He still remembered the way she had looked at the dress the night before. Her face had shown more than just surprise. It had shown deep feeling, maybe even sadness. The way she had whispered, "It's hers," stayed in his mind. Now he gathered his thoughts and walked toward her. "Rena," he said gently. She turned, her eyes calm. "May I speak with you?" She nodded. They walked together down the quiet hall, away from others. Taryn took her to the small garden space near the water tanks. It was one of the few places on the station that felt peaceful. Artificial plants grew there under soft lights. The sound of water trickling down the walls gave the place a calm feeling. Rena sat on the bench, folding her hands in her lap. Taryn sat beside her, leaving space between them. "I don't understand how the dress holds memory," Taryn said. "It's beautiful, but it's not a machine." Rena looked at the soft blue leaves of the nearest plant. It was made using a memory thread, she said. A Sorali threadcrafter takes a piece of the person's energy. It becomes part of the fabric. Not all can read it. Only those who open their minds without fear. Taryn thought about this. "Then it has her thoughts in it?" he asked. "Not just thoughts," Rena said. "It holds her last memories, her emotions, her hopes. She wore it during her final journey. She believed her story would help others one day." Taryn looked down at his hands. "She was your sister," he said. "Yes," Rena answered. "Her name was Lenal. She went with a group of humans many years ago. She believed that peace was not a dream. She shared her voice, her learning, even her heart. But her journey ended before she could return." "What happened to her?" Taryn asked. Rena did not speak for a moment. "No one knows," she said quietly. "Her last message was sent from this part of the system. Then all contact was lost. Her ship never returned. Only this dress was found, carried by another vessel with no name. Taryn felt a cold wave inside him. He looked at Rena and saw her holding back something deep. But she did not cry. The Sorali did not show sorrow the way humans did. I think she wanted someone to find it, Rena added. Someone who would listen. Taryn nodded slowly. I want to help, he said. If the dress has her message, maybe we can unlock it. Rena looked at him. Maybe, she said, but only if you are ready to listen with more than your ears. Later that night, they returned to Taryn's room. The dress lay folded on a smooth white cloth. Its teal color still shifted gently, like slow waves under moonlight. Rena sat beside it. She reached out and placed her hand over the fabric. The dress glowed faintly under her touch, forming soft circles that faded and returned. She's still here, Rena said. Taryn sat across from her. How can I hear her? He asked. You must hold it, Rena said. Not with fear, not with questions. Just with feeling. Taryn stood and picked up the dress. He did not know what to expect. It felt warm again, just like before. But this time, something new stirred inside him. A light pressure behind his eyes. A quiet sound, almost, like a voice in the wind. Suddenly, he saw something, not clear, just a flash. A green field. A woman's voice, laughter, a human and a Sorali standing together looking at stars. He stepped back, blinking. I saw something, he said. Rena's eyes were calm. She is showing you what she wants to share, she said. It has started. Taryn felt breathless. What do I do now? He asked. Wait, Rena said. More will come. The next morning, word spread across the station. Some officers had learned that Rena was here for a Sorali relic. Others wanted to take it for study. The council called a meeting to discuss what to do with the dress. Rena and Taryn were both asked to come. Inside the meeting room, Rena stood straight. Her hands were still. Her voice was steady. This dress is not a tool, she said. It is not for science. It is not for display. It is a message from a person who believed in unity. A piece of her remains in this cloth. It belongs with her people. The head officer asked how the humans could trust what they could not see. Taryn stood beside Rena. I saw her memories, he said. Just a little, but enough to know she was not lying. She loved someone from Earth. She believed in peace. The room grew quiet. One of the older council members, a woman named Mira, stepped forward. I was on the first contact team, Mira said. I remember stories of a Sorali named Linnell. She was kind. She helped us build the first bridge between species. I believe this dress belongs with her family. There were no more questions. That evening, Rena met Taryn in the same garden again. You spoke with courage, she said. I only said what I felt, Taryn replied. Rena looked at the stars through the clear dome. Perhaps she chose well, she said. You are part of her message now. Taryn smiled a little. I'm just an engineer, he said. Rena turned to him with a soft look. No, she said. You are a listener. That is much greater. The next day, Taryn woke early. He did not sleep much. His mind was full of pictures that did not belong to him. Faces he had never seen. Places he had never visited. A soft voice that whispered words in a language he did not know, but somehow felt close to. He sat on the edge of his bed and looked at the folded dress. It rested on the same white cloth. The colors moved slowly, like waves in a still lake. He reached out to touch it again, but this time nothing happened. No pictures, no sounds, just quiet fabric. Taryn sighed. Maybe it had shown him all it could. Soft knock came at his door. He opened it and saw Rena standing outside. She wore a long gray cloak today, her hands folded in front of her. I saw the council report, she said. You spoke with care. Thank you. Taryn stepped aside. You can come in. She entered the room. Her eyes went to the dress at once. She walked toward it, then sat near the table where it lay. I think she's waiting, Rena said. For what? Taryn asked. For the right moment, she replied. Memories come when the heart is open, not just the mind. Taryn sat across from her. I want to know more, he said. I want to see what really happened to your sister. Rena nodded. Then we must try together. They placed the dress between them. Rena closed her eyes and placed her hand gently over the fabric. Taryn did the same. A light warmth passed through their hands. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the air changed. The lights in the room dimmed without warning. A low hum began to rise, soft but steady. The dress shimmered brighter, and thin threads of light rose from it, curling upward like mist. Taryn blinked as his vision shifted. He was no longer in his room. He stood in a green field under a silver sky. Tall trees stood around him, their leaves shaped like stars. In front of him was a young Somali woman. She wore the same dress. Her face was bright and full of joy. Her eyes were the same color as Rena's, but her smile was wider. She stood beside a human man. He looked kind, with short, dark hair and gentle eyes. They both laughed together, standing close. Taryn could not hear words, but he felt the meaning. They were planning something, a new home, a future. Suddenly, the sky turned red. A loud sound, like thunder, broke the calm. The woman turned. Fear passed across her face. A large ship appeared above the trees. It was damaged, trailing smoke. Taryn saw the man pull her behind him, trying to protect her. Then the vision ended. Taryn gasped and pulled his hand away. Rena opened her eyes at the same time. Her face was pale. You saw it? She asked. Yes, Taryn replied, breathing fast. She was happy, with a human. Then something happened. A ship appeared. Rena nodded slowly. That must have been the day she was lost, she said. She sent a message, but no one answered. The Somali ship sent to help her never arrived. She died there? Taryn asked. We don't know, Rena replied. But no trace of her or the man was ever found. Only the dress was recovered, without record. Taryn looked at the fabric again. Why did she show me this? Because you are human, Rena said. Because you are not part of the past. You are new. She wants to be remembered. Later that day, Taryn and Rena went to the records room. The records officer, a quiet man named Harrow, looked surprised when they asked for files from the early peace missions. Those files are locked, Harrow said. Most were sealed after the treaty. High clearance only. We are not trying to break rules, Rena said. We are trying to understand a loss. Harrow looked at her. He paused, then gave a small nod. I'll give you what I can, he said, but some files are still incomplete. He returned with a small drive. This is all we have about a ship called Tellerin Star, he said. It was part of the last contact mission in this system. The ship never returned. No data after its last call near Somali space. Rena's eyes grew sharp. That was her ship. They took the drive and opened the files on a nearby screen. Maps, crew names, cargo lists. Then, Taryn saw something strange. There, he said, pointing. The name of the human on board. Mira said his name was Joran. Rena leaned closer. Yes, she whispered. That was the man she loved. They read further. The ship had sent one final message, a short burst of data. Half of it was lost, but one piece remained. A small voice file, buried deep. Taryn played it. A woman's voice came through. Soft, broken. We found a place, safe for now. Joran is hurt, but I will protect him. If this message reaches anyone, know that I have no regret. I chose this. Then silence. Rena's hand tightened. "That was her," she said. Taryn sat back. He could feel the weight of the words. She stayed with him, even when the ship was lost. "Yes," Rena said. She followed her heart. They sat together quiet. Then Taryn looked at the dress again. "She wants others to know. Not just us." Rena nodded. "Yes, this is more than memory. It is a gift." That night, Taryn walked alone through the corridors. He looked out the wide window at the stars. He thought about Linil and Jorin, two people from different worlds who believed in something greater. He touched the side of the window. "Maybe we forgot," he whispered. "But not anymore." Behind him, Rena stood watching. Without a word, she placed her hand on his shoulder. They did not speak. The silence said enough. The outpost felt different now. News had spread. People whispered in the halls. Some were curious, some were careful. A few were not happy. A Sorali visitor who spoke of old love and lost memory had touched something in the station's heart, but not everyone believed it. Rena walked quietly through the corridors. She passed crew members who stared at her but did not speak. She did not stop. She was used to silence. Taryn watched from a distance. He could see the change. Rena was calm, but he knew she felt the pressure. The message from her sister had opened a door, one many people were afraid to walk through. That evening, Taryn met her in the station garden again. He carried the dress in a smooth case, holding it with care. Rena sat on the same bench, looking up at the stars. "I think people are afraid," Taryn said as he sat beside her. "Afraid of memory?" Rena asked. "Afraid of truth," he replied. "They don't know what to believe. They never heard her story before." Rena nodded slowly. "It is hard to accept something that changes old history," she said. "Many think peace was always cold and quiet. They do not want to remember warmth." Taryn opened the case. The dress lay inside, still glowing faintly. "You should wear it," he said. Rena looked at him. Her eyes were calm, but a little surprised. "Why?" "Because she wore it when she believed in humans," Taryn said. "Let them see it. Let them feel what it means." Rena was silent. Then she nodded. "I will wear it," she said, "but only if you are with me." "I will stand beside you," Taryn replied. The next day, the council called a full meeting. Crew members gathered in the central hall. Officers stood in front. The room was full. No one spoke much, but the air felt tight. Then Rena entered. She wore the dress. The rich teal colors moved softly with her steps. The fabric caught the station lights, making her look like she had stepped out of a living dream. The room fell silent. Taryn followed her, standing beside her without fear. Rena stepped forward and looked at the people. "This dress carries the voice of Linel, a Sorali who believed in unity," Rena said. "She wore this dress not for war, but for love. She gave her life to protect someone she cared for. That story was never told." A tall officer stepped forward. His name was Commander Saren. "How do we know it's true?" he asked. "How do we know this isn't some plan to change how we see the past?" Taryn stepped in. "She showed me," he said. "Her memories, her final message. It's all in the dress." Commander Saren frowned. "You say you saw things, but we can't test memories. We need proof." Rena raised her hand. "I will give you something better than proof," she said. "I will let the dress speak again." She placed her hands gently on the fabric. It began to glow softly. A moment later, light rose from the cloth. In front of the whole room, an image formed. A green field, a human man, a Sorali woman. They stood together, holding hands, smiling. Then the red sky, the falling ship, the message. The room remained silent. No one moved. Then the image faded. Rena turned back to the crowd. She chose peace, she said, even when everything around her fell apart. That story belongs to all of us. After the meeting, no one spoke for a long time. People left quietly, one by one. Later, Mira, the older council member who had once met Linnell, came to Rena and Taryn. "I remember her," Mira said. "She smiled just like you. I was young when we met, but I never forgot the way she talked about hope. Thank you for bringing her back to us." Rena bowed her head. "Thank you for remembering," she said. That night, Rena stood by the window. Again, the stars were bright and clear. Taryn joined her. "You looked perfect in that dress," he said softly. Rena smiled. "It's not the dress," she said. "It's the memory inside it." Taryn looked at her. "No," he said. "It's both." They stood side by side in silence. Then Rena turned to him. "Do you think they'll believe now?" she asked. "Some will," Taryn said. "Some won't. But they've seen her now. They can't forget anymore." Rena gave a quiet nod. "That's all I hope for." The next morning, Taryn woke to a message from the council. They wanted to meet again, not to question, but to ask if Rena would stay longer. "She opened something we didn't know we had," the message said. "A story we forgot we needed." Rena accepted. She would stay, not just as a visitor, but as a teacher. Days passed, but the memory of the dress still lived inside the station. People who had once ignored old stories now asked questions. Crew members who had never spoken with a Sorali before now greeted Rena with respect. Some even asked her to tell them more about Linnell, her sister who chose peace over fear. Rena stayed calm through it all. She was not here for fame. She only wanted her sister's story to be known, not hidden in old data or lost records. Every time someone listened, even for a short while, she felt her sister's light grow stronger. Taryn helped her every day. He arranged small gatherings in the garden room where Rena could share what she knew. Sometimes she brought the dress with her, laying it out gently for people to see. Many just looked at it. A few reached out and touched the soft teal fabric. Most said nothing, but their eyes told her they felt something deep. One evening, Rena and Taryn sat together in the garden. The room was quiet. The soft sound of the water wall flowed behind them. "Do you think she's proud of us?" Taryn asked. Rena looked at the dress lying across her lap. "I think she's watching," she said. "Not with eyes, but with memory." Taryn smiled. "You speak like a poet." Rena gave a small smile back. "I speak like a sister." That night, something unexpected happened. An alert buzzed through the station. A small ship was approaching, not on the usual trade routes. It had no clear ID, no clear signal. The control team prepared for a scan. Taryn was already on duty. He checked the incoming ship's trail. It was old, weak, and slow. Not a threat, but strange. The ship had deep scratches along the side. It looked like it had been in space for many years. As the ship came closer, a faint signal appeared. It was Sorali. Rena was called to the command deck at once. She stood beside Taryn as the ship floated into docking range. Her face was still, but her eyes held something sharp. "I know this design," she said. Taryn looked at her. "From where?" "From the same time my sister left," Rena said. "It was part of the old peace group." The ship docked gently. A soft hiss filled the hallway as the door opened. No one stepped out. Taryn and Rena entered first, followed by two quiet guards. Inside, the ship was dark. Dust floated in the air. Old lights blinked slowly. Then, from the side wall, a machine lit up. A voice began to speak. It was a woman's voice, soft, familiar. Rena stopped walking. It was Linnell. The voice came through clear even after so many years. "If this message reaches my people, know this," Linnell said. I did not disappear. I chose to stay. The man I love was injured. We lived in a quiet place. I sent the dress away, hoping it would find someone who still believes. The voice paused. I send this message not with sadness, but with peace. We built a small home. We planted seeds. We watched stars together. If no one remembers us, let this memory remain in the dress. Then the voice stopped. The room was silent again. Rena stood still. Her hands were at her side, her head lowered. She sent this after the last message, she said. Taryn placed a hand on her shoulder. She lived, he said. Yes, Rena replied. She found what she was looking for. They returned to the station with the message. The council gathered again to listen. The voice was played for all to hear. Some of the older members bowed their heads. Some closed their eyes. Even the quiet. One said nothing for a long time after the voice ended. Mira stood and spoke. Let this memory be part of our records now, she said. Not hidden, not sealed. Let all who serve this station know that Linnell of the Sorali and Joran of Earth chose peace when others chose fear. The council agreed. A new file was created. Linnell's message, her story, the dress, all recorded under the name Bridge of Memory. That night, Rena walked alone to the garden. She wore the dress once more, not for display, but for feeling. Taryn followed her quietly and sat beside her. You found her, he said. Rena nodded. She found me first, she said, through the dress. They sat in silence again, but it was not empty. It was full. Taryn looked at her. I want to ask something, he said, but only if it's not too much. Go ahead, Rena said. Can I see the place where she lived? The quiet place she spoke about in the message. Rena looked up at the stars. We'll need a ship, she said. I'll get one, Taryn said. And time, she added. I'll take leave, he replied. Rena smiled. Then yes, she said. We will go. The stars above blinked gently. The station moved slowly around its path, and in one quiet room, a dress lay folded with care. Its light had not faded, its memory still flowed. For the first time in many years, it rested in peace. The sun from the nearby star rose slowly over the station's clear panels. The morning light spread across the glass walls, bringing soft gold into the halls. But the peace outside was not the same as inside. Taryn sat in the command hall with Rena. A message had come during the night. It was from the main Human Alliance office on planet Naren. They had seen the news. They had heard about the dress. They had listened to Linnell's message, but they were not happy. The council had called a private meeting early in the morning. Only 6 people were present. Taryn and Rena were the last 2 to enter. Commander Saren stood near the front. Mira, the older member who had supported them, sat quietly with her hands folded. We have received a direct message from Sector Command, Saren said. They believe this new information about the past must be studied before it is shared, openly. They do not want others to speak of Linnell and Joran without approval. Rena remained silent. Her eyes watched closely. Taryn leaned forward. Why? This is not a secret plan. This is her memory, her story. People already know. Saren looked at him. They are worried. They say stories like this can cause confusion. If people believe that a Sorali and a human once loved each other, if they think the war years were built on mistakes, they may question our leaders, Mira spoke softly. They should be questioned, Saren frowned. We follow rules here. If we break them, we lose order. Rena finally spoke. Order without truth is not balance, she said. The memory does not bring harm, it brings understanding. Another council member shook his head. Feelings are not proof, he said. You wear a dress. It glows. It shows pictures. But memory is soft. People can shape it. Taryn stood. I've seen what's in the dress. I've heard Linnell's voice. This is not made up. This is not a story told to trick anyone. We should not hide this. We should share it. Saren crossed his arms. Then you should leave the station, he said. Both of you. If you will not follow orders, you cannot stay. Rena stood beside Taryn. I do not fear leaving, she said. But truth follows, even across stars. Mira spoke once more. If they leave, I will speak their story. I will not be quiet. I will not forget what I saw. Saren said nothing. He looked at the others. No one moved. No one spoke. The meeting ended in silence. Later, in Taryn's room, the mood was quiet. Taryn sat on the bed, looking down. Rena stood near the window. They want us to stop, Taryn said. Yes, Rena answered. They don't want to hear what Linnell gave us. No, she said. Taryn looked at her. Then maybe we leave, he said. Like Linnell did. Not in hiding, but in choice. Rena turned toward him. I came to find the dress. I found more than cloth. I found a story worth telling. Then we go tell it, Taryn said, where they will listen. That evening, Mira met them in the hallway. I have prepared something for you, she said. There is an old ship in Dock 3. It once belonged to the first contact crew. It still flies. You can take it. Taryn looked surprised. You're giving us a ship? I'm giving you a path, Mira replied. Rena gave a gentle bow. Thank you for believing, she said. Mira smiled. I was there when Linnell first smiled at Joran. I didn't understand it then, but now I do. Taryn and Rena packed quickly. They did not take much, only the dress, a copy of the message, and some simple tools for travel. As they walked to the docking bay, some crew members stepped aside and nodded. A few reached out and shook Taryn's hand. Others gave Rena a quiet look of respect. One engineer handed Taryn a small wrapped box. What's this? Taryn asked. Food, the engineer said. You're going to need it. Taryn smiled. Thank you. At the dock, the old ship stood waiting. It had a silver body and wide wings. The name was still written on the side, Hope's Journey. Nice name, Taryn said. Rena looked at it and smiled. It fits. They entered the ship. The inside was clean but simple. No weapons, no shields, only space for travel. Taryn sat in, the pilot's seat. He looked around. Ready? Rena nodded. I'm always ready to follow truth. As the ship rose from the station, a light wind pushed against it. The stars above grew brighter. The old outpost slowly became small in the distance. Taryn looked back once. She's safe, he said. Rena placed the dress gently beside her seat. Yes, she replied. And now her voice will fly again. Inside the ship, they placed the dress in the center of the small room. It glowed with soft teal light. Taryn sat down and closed his eyes. He saw Linnell again, laughing, standing in the field with Joran. The message echoed once more. I chose this. Taryn opened his eyes. He looked at Rena. She gave us something strong. Rena nodded. She gave us a bridge. Outside the window, stars stretched ahead like a quiet road. The ship moved slowly, but with purpose. The voice of the past was alive again, and two hearts now carried it forward. The old ship, Hope's Journey, traveled through the quiet stars. Taryn and Rena sat side by side in the small cabin. The dress lay between them, glowing softly with its familiar teal light. The light seemed to pulse gently, like a heartbeat. Rena reached out and touched the fabric again. This time the dress shimmered brighter. The colors swirled like waves in the ocean. It was alive with memory. We are close now, Rena said softly. The place where Linnell and Joran made their home. the quiet place she spoke of in her message. Taryn nodded. He had studied the star maps carefully. The place was far beyond known space, a small green planet hidden among many larger stars, almost forgotten by time. "Do you think it is still there?" he asked. Rena smiled. "It must be. They planted seeds. They lived with hope." The ship moved forward, leaving trails of light behind it. Outside the window, stars stretched into endless lines. Space was calm, but the journey felt important. After many hours, the ship began to enter the atmosphere of the small planet. It was covered in green forests and clear blue lakes. The air looked clean and fresh. The ship landed softly in a clearing surrounded by tall trees. Taryn and Rena stepped out slowly. The ground felt soft under their feet. Birds sang quietly in the distance. They walked toward the center of the clearing. There, under a large tree, stood a simple stone marker. The stone was worn and covered with moss, but on it were carved symbols, Sorali and human shapes intertwined. Rena touched the stone carefully. "This is their place," she said, "a sign of their bond." Taryn looked around. The forest was quiet, but full of life. Small flowers grew near the stone. The air smelled sweet, like new beginnings. "This is peaceful," Taryn said. "A perfect place." Rena smiled. "Peace is not always loud," she said. "Sometimes it is quiet, like this." They stayed there for many hours. Rena told stories of Linnell's hope and courage. Taryn listened and asked questions. The dress glowed softly on the ground near the stone. As the sun began to set, the sky turned pink and gold. Light passed through the trees like soft whispers. Taryn looked at Rena. "What now?" he asked. Rena thought for a moment. "We share this," she said. "We bring this peace to others. The story of two hearts who built a bridge across worlds." Taryn smiled. "We can start with the station, with those who will listen." Rena nodded. "Yes, and from there, it will grow." On the journey back, the dress seemed to shine even more. It was as if it was alive with new energy, ready to tell its story. When they arrived at the station, people gathered to hear their tale. Rena spoke of Linnell and Joran's love, their journey, and their hope for peace. Taryn shared the memories he had seen and the message they had found. The story moved many. Some cried, some smiled, some found new hope. The council agreed to create a special place in the station, a memorial for Linnell and Joran, a symbol of unity between humans and Sorali. Days turned into weeks. The dress was placed in a glass case near the memorial. It glowed softly, a reminder of love and peace. Rena decided to stay longer on the station. She taught others about Sorali culture and the meaning behind the dress. Taryn helped her, sharing stories and working to keep the memory alive. Together, they built something new, a bridge not made of stone or metal, but of trust and understanding. One evening, as the station lights dimmed and stars filled the sky, Taryn and Rena stood by the memorial. Taryn looked at her and smiled. "You look perfect in that dress," he said quietly. Rena smiled back. "It is not the dress," she said. "It is the memory inside it." Taryn nodded. "Both," he said. They stood together watching the stars. The dress shimmered faintly in the background, a silent witness to a story of hope. The bridge Linnell and Joran built was no longer lost. It lived in the hearts of those who believed.